I'm cool.
Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday night, so it's time for the Raven Sports Podcast. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. So we thank all of you out there that have been watching. Well, we're Orioles now 7-0. I just flipped it off here. Very impressive grand salami by Holiday. And as well. So Orioles finally getting back on track tonight here. Brandon Young, another really good start. So good stuff from the Orioles tonight. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Those of you still watching, I'm sure, getting that squared away. NBA Finals tonight, but we're going to continue to drive on here as we usually do here every week. Instant reaction, January 11th. 2026 Orioles and Royals as well. So that's the same night as the MLB draft first round. We'll go ahead and be chopping that up as well. Who is going to be the number one pick in the draft? Who are the Orioles going to select? So we're going to stick around for part of the first round. One of my favorite streams all year are baseball only. So we're going to be chopping up the first half a little bit as well that night, talking about who's in the lead for Cy Young and things like that. So a good baseball stream. We're going to have that night, 9 o'clock on July 11th. Genesis Notary Services and Facebook.com. Definitely too busy again with the notary day. So I want to thank all of you in Winchester getting all these calls for people that are helping out here with that. So we appreciate all of you that's expanding process server, wedding efficient, getting off the ground, field inspection, getting off the ground. So I'm just eternally grateful. Thank you very much, all of you in Winchester. The RavenrySports.company.site, Fanatics links is there as well. So definitely to check it out. We're going to have one tonight. Fanatics links, definitely to check out our website. You want Orioles and Ravens merchandise as well. We're going to have that for you. So definitely, absolutely check that out. See, Charles Harris, we are LegalShield.com. So definitely to Legal Shield. It's a great resource. I rave about Legal Shield. So many people are missing out on the good stuff that Legal Shield is giving you as well. RavenrySports@gmail.com. Definitely too. If I don't have any of those things on the website, we're going to go ahead and check that out as well. The bottom of the screen also to Ravenry Sports blog spot. Okay, so the Ravenry Sports blog. We're going to talk tonight about the Frederick Keys. We're going to have our first interview with the Frederick Keys. Our first print interview. Sled Fuchs is going to give him some of his thoughts. I got a chance to ask him a few questions as well. So the Keys GM talking about also too, he works with the Ironbirds. He works with Atten Sports. He's talking to me about his job. So our first print interview, very excited about that. That's going to be on Friday. So definitely to 6 a.m. So definitely to, if you want to go ahead and check that out. Tony Pente, we go ahead and talk to him. That's going to be on Saturday. The prospects as well. Very passionate about Orioles prospects, very passionate about the team as well. 30 years Orioles hangout as well. So we're going to be talking to him on Saturday. All right. I expect some heat tonight from some of the NFL stuff we're going to do, but we're going to go ahead and do that. That is New Edition. I'm going to get it right this year. Bobby, Johnny, Ronnie, Ricky, Mike, and Ralph. Transfer. New Edition. If it isn't love, why do? Let me tell you something. New Edition was the coolest guys before Boys to Men. I think they were the precursor, that label, the 90s label. All you guys out there remember that. So what does New Edition have to do with anything football-wise? And we're talking about the new additions to the Ravens this year. So definitely we're going to talk about what came in, what leave, a lot of changes as well. Obviously, I didn't put the one down, the obvious departure, the head coach, John Harbaugh. So a new coaching staff as well. So let's look at the players. What went out the door for the Ravens at the end of last year? Cooper Rush didn't work. I actually don't mind the idea of getting a backup. He's somewhat established. He still hasn't signed. Didn't work. Keaton Mitchell signed with the Chargers after the Ravens released the restricted tag from him. He went ahead and signed with the Chargers. Like a lot of these guys are going to see, Pat Ricard, no longer the Ravens, probably not using a fullback, signed with the Giants. DeAndre Hopkins is still out there, rumored for a couple teams. Tylan Wallace signed with the Browns. Todd Monken, familiar there, so you're going to see that as well. Charlie Kolar, again, familiar with the Harbaughs as well, going with the Chargers, about third tight end. Isaiah Likely signing with John Harbaugh, again, in the Giants. Joe Noteboom still out there. We'll see how that goes. Daniel Falele, I read they weren't happy with Daniel Falele already with the Giants. Not a surprise, right? Not a surprise, right? Tyler Linderbaum, I think, might have been the top free agent in the NFL, $27 million, signed with the Raiders. Kyle Van Noy still out there as well. He's probably the one, if there is one on this particular list, you may see around training camp, see if anything happens here in the mini camps in the next couple of days. We'll see about when David Ajabo really didn't contribute much here despite expectation. He's going to take a shot at the Giants. Tavian Bryant still unsigned, not signed yet. Draymond Jones, good pickup after the trade, late season pickup there, signed with the New England, back with Mike Vrabel, who he played with before. Brent Urban may finally retire or go to New York. I can see that one as well if he actually does sign. Aloy Gilman, another late season addition, actually signs with the Chefs in their revamped secondary as well. Darius Washington signs with the Commanders, and Jordan Stout, former Ravens punter, signs with the Giants. Those are the main guys. That may be others as well. So that's what's left. What are we getting? The Ravens. So let's go over this. Adam Randall. Don't always go over a fifth-round running back. I would say in this particular case, this guy was picked by the owner, Steve Bisciotti. So I don't think he's going to get cut. I think you pick a guy in the fifth round by Steve Bisciotti. I think that matters. I do think he's going to be on the roster. Running back room is fairly crowded still. Obviously, Derrick Henry's going to start. Still, Justice Hill is here. Rasheen Ali actually was on the roster all last season. So we'll see how they go. Will they carry 4 running backs again? I'm not sure about that. So I think this is a case where somebody's going to go. We'll get the position battles next week. But I think Adam Randall's a pretty sure bet. You see the numbers, 814 carries, 10 TDs. Good stuff from Randall. I think interesting to see how that goes. Sark caught a pass at minicamp from Lamar Jackson. That's always good to see. Fourth-round pick, 665 receptions, 830 yards, 830 yards, and 15 TDs. Last season in Indiana. Indiana players are very, very good last season. One of the storylines for me is to see how good the Indiana players are, because almost none of them were 5 stars. They went to the top of college football. It's interesting to see as well. This is about what they got right. This is about where he should have been drafted. Lots of potential here. A lot of those guys are polished, good 4-year players as well. The third receiver spot, I think, is wide open. Also, the second receiver spot, I think, is wide open. This is also to kind of return to form what the Ravens liked. We saw Zay Flowers. We saw Marquise Brown. They drafted early. This is kind of what they've always done. Now, the worry in that is it didn't always work. But this is big, tall, physical. This is kind of what they've done. Interesting to see this as well. Similar here, Jacoby Lane, a round higher, third-round pick, 43 receptions last year, 525, 12 touchdowns at Southern California. Played with Caleb Williams, I believe, in college, so he understands how it is to catch from an NFL quarterback. I thought this was a round high for him. I've kind of said that. I thought like third round. I'm not sure I would have done that. So I understand what they were thinking, though, if you really like this guy. But again, it's interesting. You pick kind of similar guys. I think he's more polished on the outside than Strat is. But I think you'll see him, but definitely 2 long arms, get those 50-50 balls, very good in the red zone. I think that's a concern for them. So I definitely think they take a big, tall guy like Lane. I kind of like the other one better than Lane. That's just me, but we'll see how that goes in camp as well. We've got kind of Happy Wednesday, Michael. Rav. Hope you are well too, sir. All right. Durham Smythe. Interesting. So this is guy we just talked about what's left. Charlie Kolar went out the door, and Durham Smythe is here. I think this is going to be a blocking tight end. I don't think you have any designs on this guy. I don't think the Ravens have any designs on this guy being this big time receiving tight end. He's very familiar with the offense already. He's played with Declan Doyle before last season. So I think you're going to you want to bring a guy in that's familiar with your offense at the least. Even if he's not great, he can kind of come in and help you in camp a lot. So he's a guy come in, not a lot of catches, 4 catches, 25 yards. You can almost argue, I think I could see him as the new Pat Ricard there as well. So I definitely think this is a guy that's going to just be your blocking tight end. You're going to have Andrews the receiver, Dylan Smythe the blocker, and then I think one of these other guys is going to emerge. He could also too be in the Pat Ricard role, even though they want to have a traditional fullback, but when they need a fullback, when they need that short yardage, he could be your guy though as well. I don't think he's going to have much of a receiving role. The two receivers, kind of like the wide receivers, I think you're going to see a lot of battle at the tight end. Josh Cuevas, 5th round pick, 37 receptions, 411, 4 TDs. I think he's a little more green of the two tight ends. But I definitely love his upside. I love the speed. I think his speed is very deceptive. I think he can get down the field and run over guys along with having some speed on the outside. I think he's a guy you could split out wide. You can move him around a little bit, more of a traditional tight end. If he's not in the Pat Ricard role, I also, too, if you want to use that fullback, this is more the Frank Wycheck type. The guy that is the Frank Wycheck role. So definitely keep that in mind as well. Matthew Hibner, I know the organization really likes him. 31 carries, 436 yards, 4 TDs. Hibner, I think he could be, the betting favorite to go ahead and become the starter tight end, I think, at some point. Interesting to see. You did sign Mark Andrews to a 3-year deal, 31 receptions, 436 yards, and 4 TDs. It'll be interesting to see. I think he's a more, in traditional sense, big, strong down the middle of the field. I think that's more what he's going to do. He's a guy that's going to go ahead and do that. Hibner, I think, is very interesting. Free agent John Simpson for the New York Jets. I think I've said it a couple of times. You bring John Simpson in to fix your problems at guard when John Simpson was already on the team. If you'd have given him the contract, and it wasn't a huge contract he just got, 3 years, $30 million. I'm like, you could have did that like 2 years ago. You wouldn't have to fool around with Falele and all that stuff. You just kept John Simpson. John Simpson is going to short up. Is he would you put him in a category with a Marshall Yanda, with a Kevin Zeitler? No. Is he a solid starting NFL guard? Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about this guy starting probably at right guard. I'm thinking it is possible they could have Leone on the left side. So we'll see which guard spot he starts at, but he's definitely a starter. This is a clear upgrade. Look, the guard spot was a mess last year. Just a complete mess. I think part of the reason, the two biggest reasons, the reasons the Ravens didn't make the playoffs was you had issues at guard that were horrible that you didn't fix, and you had the pass rush. So you addressed both of those as well. You didn't draft center as well, really. Vega Ione, I think we just talked about him there. I think this guy almost needs no introduction. He's looked great in camp. He's looked great in Penn State. I think this is easily, you could argue, he was the best offensive lineman in the entire draft. Certainly the best inside line guy as far as guard, center. I don't think there's any question about it. This guy is plug and play. When you bring a guy in like this, you don't worry about anything. I heard the great Jimmy Johnson say this about Ed Reed when Ed Reed got drafted. You hope a guy could come in. You hope a guy could fit your system. You hope. You don't hope anything with this guy. Plug and play. It's just a matter of which guard he's going to spot at as well. Definitely an upgrade. Center competition is coming. This is probably the guy so far that's been the most impressive, according to all the reports. Danny Pinner for the Colts. They do not have a center right now. So I think what you do is they're going to take a good look at mini camps and see how these guys look in mini camp. The veterans are out there. Ethan Pollock, I think, is the thing out there, etc. But how do they look at mini camps? Do we need to do that? That's kind of how they're looking at it as well. So see how they look at mini camps, see if anybody gets hurt, see if they need to do anything. Pinner so far, the free agent, is the leader. He'll be concluding with this guy, Jovan Gwynn from the Falcons. So they're all getting first team reps. They did in the OTAs. They made sure of it. They made sure to get these guys all first team reps so they get a good look at these guys. I don't know how much Jesse Minter is familiar with them as well. I'm sure they're somewhat familiar, but it's interesting. I don't know how good these guys are. So I definitely think Corey Bullock is going to be in the competition as well. Nick Dawkins, who I didn't list as a free agent, but undrafted free agent, we'll see. I think he certainly will be in there. How about this one? Calais is back. Calais Campbell is back with the Ravens. He's going to be now one of the oldest players in the NFL. He's become, I use a baseball parable, like Julio Franco. Like Julio Franco was like 41, 42 as his listed age, but he lived in a country where they didn't have birth certificates, so nobody knew how old he really was. He could have been 46, 47. They asked Bobby Cox the question about his birth certificate and all that. It's like, well, I don't really care. He can still hit. Whatever. However old he is, he's a good hitter. And it's kind of the same with Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell is still a good player. Whatever old he is, I think this is a perfect situation for him. The expectation, he be every down back. He can come in third downs. He can kind of manage his reps. I absolutely think this is great. Great signing for the Ravens. A guy, and if it is an injury to Travis Jones, God forbid, or somebody else, God forbid, you have a lot of insurance here. You have a guy that can play well for you. Zion Young. I thought this pick was a little high. You're going to see him on the field. He's going to play a lot. There's a very good chance he could be the starter next to Zion Williamson. It is possible. We'll see how it goes in camp. Mike Green, I know, has a year of experience, but he's better. And the reason I say he can start is he's better in the rundowns, right? So you got Mike Green, who's good off the edge. And then in the first and second down, I could see them using a Zion Young here. We'll see how he does in camp. 6.5 sacks, second round pick. Interesting to see how he does going forward next year. Zion Young's pretty good. But again, I kind of thought this was a little early for him. If you pick a guy, to me, a pass rusher in the first, second round, I want to see an automatic sack guy if you pick a guy that early. This guy is still, I think, is a bit of on third down as a pass rusher, I still have to see it as well. We'll see how he does in camp, of course, but interesting to see how that goes. The coup de grace, Trey Hendrickson, for 4 tackles, 11 tackles, 4 sacks. Pay that sack total, no mind. He was hurt a lot of last year. This guy's going to get you 15, 16 sacks for sure if he's healthy. All accounts, he should be healthy as well. I can't wait for the Bengals game. This kind of got with the mix of the Max Crosby situation that the Bengals and the rivalry with this is going to be a big deal. So this is going to be interesting to see. Though how he got here, I think some people are questioning that. But he is an outstanding player. I think Hendrickson, is going to be, look, you solved the pass rush problem. You had to solve the pass rush problem. This solves the pass rush problem. Very expensive, and I definitely think as long as he's healthy, 13 sacks in the offing. Couple more. Chandler Rivers. Rivers is a guy I think is really a lot of people are high on. Great speed, good in the slot as well. Darius Webb type. Ladarius. It's funny enough, I mentioned Ladarius. You got Darius Jr. trying to make the roster. So Ladarius, web type, I think you could put him in the slot right away and not worry. Interesting to see. I think they definitely could use some help in the slot. They're going to need another corner to step up. The top three guys, Awuzie, Marlon Humphrey, are over 30. Two of the top three are over 30, and then you have Nate Wiggins, who's had some injuries. So we'll see. So they definitely. This is more of a concern for me than I think I've heard in general. They definitely need him, TJ Tampa, and somebody else to step up. This guy's got a lot of potential. He had 2 interceptions last year. Jalen Hawkins is going to come in, so they lost a couple safeties. This guy's a backup safety. I don't think there's any more than that. Although, look at 71 tackle. He was really good last year in New England. I thought New England's defense was kind of slept on as a whole. I thought defense is really good. He come in, play with discipline, play in a system, play with Anthony Weaver as well. So I definitely think this will work. But clearly he's a backup safety. And I think this was part of it. This guy, they want to established Malachi Starks as a starter along with Kyle Hamilton. So you're definitely going to see that as well. Gilman's gone. Darius is gone. Jalen Hawkins. So I think though you bring him in, this guy is a solid backup. He also could be competing with Kavon Wallace. I think he's a little bit more of a long shot for the roster. I don't know if he actually makes it, but we will see. There again in that mix to bring in that's a common thing when they bring in a lot of safeties, a lot of running back. So he's in the mix there to go ahead and compete with that. Ryan Eckley is the new punter by all accounts. So they talk about Ryan Eckley. They didn't draft a punter this high not to take him. So I think there's a better chance that Tyler Loop's not on the team. But you got some youth there. So you got Eckley, you got Tyler Loop as well. He's going to go ahead and start. I didn't love his hang time as much as some other punters in the draft. He kind of is more directional. I think that's the thing that you'll like. I think that's probably the reason they drafted him. You want a guy with the directional stuff. So I want the ball down on the 5-yard line late in the game, and he's better at that stuff. So I think that's what they were looking for. There you go. If it isn't love, why do I watch foot? There you go. New additions to the Ravens. Definitely check it out here as well. So those are the guys you're going to see on the field that you haven't seen before. So one of the reasons always too I watch training camp is you watch for guys that are new, that haven't been on the field yet as new players. So interesting to see as well, to see how these new guys do. Interesting to see that as well. All right. Mini camp is going on right now for the Ravens. So not a lot with mini camp is well. Again, I'm looking over it now. So first mini camp here is wrapped up as well. Lamar out on the field looks good. I thought all accounts where Lamar actually looked good as well. Defense, I thought, looked good. I think sometimes that's a good sign that if the offense is way ahead of the defense, that's not a good thing. Defense should be ahead of the offense usually at this point because there's less to do. But again, pretty much some guys were not on the field. Zion Young looked pretty good. Emory Jones, I think we're going to see him a little bit of tackle as well. Guys were out there fighting. I always think about when I talk about guys fighting, I think of the late great Orlando Brown there, late round draft pick, guys fighting to make a spot. Nobody knew his name. Nobody knew anything about him. So I say, I'm just going to start fights. Then they're going to remember me, right? So that kind of made sense there as well. That's about it. There on mini camp. So we will see how that goes with the mini camps as well. But I think the biggest thing is seeing guys that you haven't seen the rookies. That's why we're talking about the rookies and actually getting a look at the vets, the competition, and things like that because it starts every minute they're on the field. Depth chart also too is interesting to see who's starting there on the field. So that's there. All right. Well, it's that time. So here we go. So our top 10 list. We're going to take these top 10 lists. We're here on June 10th, and these things are going to go into the NFL season, and we're going to start our list. So last week we had top 20 free agents of all time. We're going to have top 10 in the modern day, the current list of players every week in the NFL. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Top 10 quarterbacks. We're going to go all the way running back, wide receiver. We're going to have all the positions all the way up until right when the season starts. The head coach is going to be the last one. So I will say, I expect people not to agree with this. That's okay. But there's a shift going on. This wasn't as easy as it has been in terms of that. So on a bunch of these lists, especially here early on offense, I think the number one guy, I think it is, it's going to make surprise some people. So we'll see. Other lists are going to come out. We'll see. But I think this is accurate as of right now. I think there's a bit of a shift. Number 10, Jaden Daniels of the Commanders. I think everybody's kind of forgot about how good he was the year before with all the injuries that he had. Daniels, I thought, was very, very good in the year before. Last year, obviously, the injuries, team not as good. I think the only thing wrong with him is if he's just got to stay healthy. That's the only thing keeping him out of the top 10. His speed is fantastic. He's probably now, you could argue, even more than Lamar, the best running quarterback in the NFL. Excellent, I think, throwing arm. Does he have enough around him? I think his line is much better than it's been. So I don't know how good the Commanders are going to be, but I still really like Jaden Daniels. I think Daniels still belongs in the top 10 as well. There. Number 9, Sam Darnold. It almost seems low for a guy who just won the Super Bowl. I can't leave Darnold out of the top 10 anymore. The jokes need to stop. Seeing ghosts, all that stuff. Darnold is the real deal. He's not great all the time. He does have his moments still where I think he's a little erratic. I think that's the biggest reason why he's not higher. But he gets it done. The last 2 seasons, I think, like whatever else went on before that, he's been terrific for them. I think certainly, too, that he's Super Bowl effective. Stats aren't going to be out of the ceiling, and they do have a bit of a run-first offense. He's got a great receiver. That helps, too. But I think Darnold definitely belongs now in the top 10 after certainly what he did with the Seahawks last season. Number 8, Justin Herbert. This is not too low for Justin Herbert. I don't know what the problem is, why people think Herbert belongs top 2, 3. I don't get that at all. Herbert is a good quarterback, great talent, but I'm sorry, you got to get out of the first round before I can put you higher than that. I mean, he's good, but won a playoff game, good regular season stats. I have noticed, too, he's good against kind of like Joe Flacco used to be, lights up bad teams, and then when he's in a tough one, not as much, not as good as well. That's kind of a thing I've kind of noticed with him. Kind of slow moving the offense, kind of a run first offense, but the athleticism is fantastic. I think, like as far as he's as good of an athlete as you have at the quarterback position, and that's saying something. So, but Herbert, I'm sorry, you got to get out of the first round. So at number 8, I think that's fair. For Justin Herbert. All right, we already did that. 7, Jalen Hurts. This is the opposite. I don't know why anybody doesn't like Hurts. I don't get it. This guy, all he does is win. A.J. Brown is could be making a big mistake leaving Philly because this guy is, I think, a top 7 quarterback. People say he can't pass. That's not true. This is some bias against guys who have run offenses, or you have really good running, or you're not just the. I've seen this all these years in football I've been watching, where you have this where guys run first offense or something like that. He's not as good a passer. I don't know what other people watching the passing percentages there. Not a gorgeous ball. I think that's part of it too. He doesn't look statuesque throwing a football, but certainly effective. I definitely don't understand it. Hurts number 7 actually won the Super Bowl. I definitely have Hurts there. Number 6, Drake May. I think the best is yet to come with Drake May. I think he does have an excellent touch on the football. He kind of reminds me of Tony Romo when I see him throw the football without all the mistakes like this. Plays within himself. The reason to move up May, I think, is because he really didn't have the great weaponry I think he's figuring to have going forward. So that'll be interesting to see how good Drake May is going forward. A bit of a projection as well, but look, he was really close to winning the MVP last season. I definitely like Drake May. I think Drake May, I still think the best is yet to come. I don't think New England slides at all. I think this guy is going to lead the way for New England. Number 5, Joe Burrow. Look, some people like Burrow still, and I still like Burrow. I think when he's on the field, there's nothing not to like. I don't think there's any question about that. This guy's been hurt an awful lot at this point. I mean, I don't know how many times in seasons. I don't know how many even complete seasons he's even had. I have to look it up. But Burrow, he's been hurt an awful lot. Just affecting his team an awful lot. I think he's had at least 3 seasons where he's missed a whole bunch of games. So he's been hurt an awful lot. I think that factors in. Otherwise, he's terrific. I think you could argue he's the best quarterback in the league if it's not for the injuries. The other thing, too, his team isn't winning either, despite all these stats. I don't know what that is. Tough here at the top to kind of bias against, but I'm thinking that factors in. But Burrow, I take Burrow over most quarterbacks. The arm strength, the way he delivers the football down the field, he's mentally tough. But the injuries, I think, are a thing as well. Number 4, our guy, Lamar Jackson. This was the first year last year where I had the other guys ahead of Lamar a little bit. You can argue with the 3 previous years, he was the best quarterback in the NFL, and it not for the playoff success. His production was down a little bit last year. I definitely think Lamar was down a little bit. Definitely think it was an injury factored in. I think he was able to come back. I do think he was dialing it back a little bit. So we'll see how this goes. Lamar's going to be 30 years old now, so still got some good years left in him. I don't know what's going on with the extension. That's just crazy as well. I'm not worried at all about Lamar. Did see he came into camp, learning new offense, etc. But I have him at 4. I don't have him above these other 3 guys here at the top. Number 3, Pat Mahomes. Question is Mahomes going to be healthy here at the start? We don't know. By all accounts, from what I've been seeing and reading, that he should be good to go for most of the season. If he's not ready at the start of training camp, he should be good to go for most of the season. Training camp.
Is that my purple Sharpie? No, Mom bought it. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, everything I'm looking at it one more time. Mahomes should be good to go at the start of camp. The production is down for him, so I think that's fair. I think if somebody wants to say Lamar's the head in 4 and 5, the production is down, that's fair. I think he is taking less risk as a passer than he used to. Some of it was Tyreek Hill, but I do think it's a little bit more dink-dunk. I think he's got to let it rip a little bit more. I think some of it is him. I think all the blame gets on the receivers, but I do think that's a thing as well. But the Chiefs win when this guy plays well. And I think he is the system. I think he's definitely there. Number 3, first year last year where his team did not make the AFC title game at least. So I'm not going to drop him too far as well. So I'm doing it every time. Number 2, Josh Allen. Josh Allen was terrific MVP level last year. This was the first year where I really thought Josh Allen played better than Lamar as well. He's still not getting to the Super Bowl. I think the only thing I would say about Josh Allen, the Super Bowl thing, the playoff thing, where he gets more heat with Lamar. He should rather, because he hasn't been as good in the playoffs. But he's getting his team to the playoffs. They won the division last. They won the first round over the Jacksonville. I think he's been really good. Stats, I think we're right there, MVP level, right near the MVP level. Didn't get off to a great start, but I think Josh Allen is the real deal. He's certainly bona fide. The only thing missing from the resume is a Super Bowl win, Super Bowl appearance. But number one is Matt Stafford. Stafford has gotten better with age. I think he's terrific. I think he was terrific last year. I think still the MVP is justified. Stafford used to throw a lot of picks. I don't see that anymore. He doesn't throw picks anymore. He throws the ball downfield. He's tough. He actually stays on the field. I think he's got the great weaponry there. On these lists, you're going to see a lot of Rams. Like I can tell you. And right now, I think he's the best quarterback in the league. Number one, Matt Stafford. There you go. I'm sure some people are going to disagree, but I think Stafford is number one. I think he's the best quarterback right now in the NFL. So we will check that out. So definitely check it out. This wish is going to be on social media as well. We're going to go ahead and chop it up as well. Who are the top 10 quarterbacks in the league? And we're going to do this every week here as well. So let's take a look here. The Knicks and the Spurs are going on right now. I know what this is. Love and respect your passing. Definitely would have had Goff in the top 10. Just saying, the numbers don't lie. Dak as well. Numbers mean something. Goff is in the top 10. I think some people, you could argue that the 10 spot was a little bit arguable. Goff hasn't done anything in the playoffs either. And he hasn't been as good stat-wise as some of the guys I think ahead of him. I think Jaden's a little bit of a projection, but I think Jaden, has got his team. That also factored in. For me, Dak, I got no problem with Dak if you put him in the top 10. But again, almost no playoffs. Almost nothing in the playoffs. I think he's a good regular season player as well. When you talk about the best quarterback in the NFL, for me at least, they win. They win. Goff went to a Super Bowl. He did. But they didn't. They went to a Super Bowl, which is accurate. But his numbers aren't as good as some of the guys ahead of him. Interesting stuff there. NBA Finals. Somebody forgot to tell the Knicks that they're supposed to not be competitive in this thing. The Knicks have not paid that no mind. The Knicks have been really good in this series, 2-1. They're losing right now, from what I can see, 41-25. So the Spurs woke up, and I saw that in Game 3 for sure as well. So the Spurs actually were a team that actually answered the bell when it was Game 3, the physical challenge. First 2 games. Look, I think they kind of caught the Spurs napping. Napping maybe is too strong of a word, but the legs were a bit dead. They had just played 7 games. Maybe you're a little bit overconfident as well. They really smacked around Wemby and them pretty good in the first 2 games. They've been shooting the ball well all playoff. So I think there's a lot to like there. I do believe that was a thing. Game 2 was very close. Bad mental error at the end of the game by Wembanyama at the end of the last series when he was bringing the ball up. I blame Stephon Castle for that. First of all, as good as Wembanyama is, as tall as he is, as great as athleticism is, and I know you can handle the rock. Some of these bigger guys can handle the rock. They give it to the small guy for a reason. Where was De'Aaron Fox to bring the ball up in that situation? Where was Stephon Castle? He's not even paying attention. So, again, mental error on his part, but more I look at the fact that in Game 2, he shouldn't have been the guy to handle it in the first place across the timeline. That's why you don't have a 7-footer do that. You need a guy, De'Aaron Fox, Castle had the ball. They do that all the time. They in that situation as well. So he's going to get blamed for it, and I think media blame them for it, but I think that's it. Game 3, I didn't watch the whole game at live. I did watch it a little bit there because I was doing the broadcast driving the cop Monday. I could see it, but I had the game on, and I can tell you the Spurs, the physical challenge, they met it immediately. Stephon Castle was out there every time I see him, hitting people in the mouth, hitting people in the mouth. They didn't let the Knicks push him around anymore in this game, and that's exactly what that looked like, and that's why they were successful in Game 3, and that's why they're winning tonight in this one. 47-25 is going on right now. The Spurs, I think, are I think they've woken the sleeping giant with the Spurs as well. The Spurs, they just have so much talent. You got so many guys there. I think Castle can get you 20 points a game. I think he's an excellent defensive player. I think you got De'Aaron Fox there can get you 20 points. Wembanyama can get you 20 points. Harper, the fact that he's not starting, that tells you how good Stephon Castle is, that he's in front of him. Keldon Johnson as well. Knicks are really good, I think, but I don't think they have the offensive firepower. They're really shutting Brunson down the last two games. In Game 3, every time I saw Jalen Brunson, he had two guys on him. Every time. Like, they didn't give him any air. We're not going to give you any air. We're not going to give you any room. You're not going to – somebody else is going to be to beat us in this series. So that's exactly the way they were playing it, and that's exactly how you should play it in that as well. So tonight, and I'm going to look at it tonight. And I'm going to check out. I was watching the Orioles here beforehand as well. Devin Vassell, 12 points here. Wembanyama, 13 points. De'Aaron Fox, 11 points. 3 for 5 for the three-point line. So they hang from the outside shot. The Knicks have just been out of this world shooting the long shot better than I think they actually are. I think they get a challenge. Again, Brunson now again, 4 points, 0 for 3, everything at the line. They are crowding him. They're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. We're not going to let our main guy beat you. You're going to have to find somebody else to do it. And I got to tell you, it looked like these games are getting chippy, etc. So historically, this would be very strange if this score holds. The two teams on the road teams win the first two games, and now we're at Game 6. So interesting to see here. Still early, though, so we will definitely keep our eye on that as well. But I definitely think the Knicks have been game here as well. And let's see who gets the NBA Finals. We'll talk about it one more time next week. All right. So let's go ahead and get the music going.
I mean, I do it too. Still love you though. You still love you. Right.
All right, so went ahead and we played the Charge this week as well, and so that's what it means. So it's time for baseball summer, as we do usually at the start here at baseball summer. We talk about the Orioles minor league system. So definitely checking that out as well. And so baseball summer, and I just want to go over real quick what it was designed for. Definitely to, obviously, we talk about the MLB, love Major League Baseball, but there's obviously other things that are going on as well. So obviously the Orioles minor league system, players that are going from major leagues, who's there, what the Orioles' future looks like, and other things. Also, to College World Series is going. Definitely interested in that. Definitely going to talk about that here pretty soon. The College World Series. So we're absolutely going to talk about that. Also, too, we're going to talk about the minor leagues, and definitely, too, very excited. We're going to talk about the Frederick Keys tonight. The Keys are back in business. The Keys are absolutely back in business as an affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. So after a hiatus as well, it is no longer, the Keys are now the high single A team for the Orioles. The Aberdeen Ironbirds are now a draft league team, like the Keys were. So a draft league team, we're going to talk about that when we talk about the Ironbirds. But they are a team now where it's, once the college season is over, they're going to have college players on their team. They're going to have college players on their team. They're going to go back to college and they're going to work it out, similar to like here in Winchester, like the Winchester Royals have a team like that. They're not affiliated with a team, but they actually get a chance to play during the summer, during college as well. All right. So there's a lot to talk about here because this team is really exciting. The Frederick Keys. I was also personally excited living near Frederick, not that far. Slade Feast is the general manager. Definitely check out our blog, Rivery Sports, at riverysportsblogspot.com. We are going to interview with him. That is going to be our 1,700-word article, our interview with Slade Feast as well with the Keys. They've been so gracious as well, giving us that. So shout out to the Keys. Good luck to them this season. And I don't think they need luck because I think this might be right now the best team in the Orioles organization. 36-19 as well. Best team. A lot of these teams we talked about, Norfolk kind of struggling a little bit. And we talked about Chesapeake. I want to say Bowie. The Chesapeake Bay Sox kind of struggling a little bit. And now they have the team, the best team in the organization. So you talk about the future, the prime prospects, the really good prospects in the organization are in, I think, Frederick right now. And it's reflecting in the record. It's reflecting on the field. It's reflecting as a whole as well. So let's look at it. So these guys are not guys that are the best players, but guys to keep an eye on. Tony Pennetta, we talked about Vance Honeycutt. He used pretty hard on Vance Honeycutt. Vance Honeycutt, number 1 overall pick, 22nd pick, 2024, and he struggled. He didn't get promoted even. That's a thing. Like, he didn't get promoted. He's still in single A. He was a college player. He's still in single A, and he's hitting less than 200 this year. He did hit another home run the last I saw it, but that's not good. So good defensively. Let's see if he can turn it around. Luis Cavas, definitely too. Almost missed the top list there. Player from the Dominican Republic. Keep an eye on Colin Tiff. This organization has done very well with catchers. Basayo, Rutschman, Creed Williams, Colin Tufts. They've done very well. Maverick Hanley guys. So they're getting production from the catcher position. So that's absolutely true as well for them. What's going on? So who are the best players in the organization for them? So Victor Figueroa. This might be one of the best players in the entire minor leagues as far as having a good season. Look at the numbers here. 278, and these are of last night. I don't know about tonight's game. But 15 home runs, 45 RBIs, 278. He's not going to stay in Frederick very long with those numbers. I mean, he has been fantastic for them as well. So 22 years old, still young. Guy, keep an eye on him. Definitely, too. There's a lot of room in Double and Triple A. So he's really been their best player, really mashed as well. Wemo Lloyd. I think this guy is fantastic. Tony Fennett was really saying a lot of good things about Wemo Aloy, and I agree with him. This guy named minor league player of the month the last month for the Orioles in May. 10 home runs, 44 RBIs, 277 average. I think his defensive shortstop is really good. He can hit. Some guys can just hit. I think he's definitely a former college player of the year. Played in the College World Series. Been very good so far in the minors at Delmarva last year. I definitely think he's a major league shortstop at some point. Ike Irish has made his way to the top 100 prospects on the MLB top list. I definitely see why teams like Irish as well. Stats so far this year, not quite as good as Aloy. He's toolsy, definitely toolsy. So what do players need to play baseball? You need the 5 tools: hit, run, throw, catch, and hit for power. 5, right? So I think Irish has all those 5 things. I think defensively, he played a lot of catcher in college, so they're still playing him in right field after the. I think that's a thing, but I definitely think Ike Irish is. I definitely think all the tools are there for Ike Irish to be a really good player going forward. Nate George has been fantastic for them. He has been out for the last month with an injury, with illness, so that's a concern. But before that, 293 average, 1 home run, 15 stolen bases, picking up right where he left off. He could come back to the field healthy. Not to worry about. Talk about player of the month, Boston Bateman, pitcher of the month. Love Boston Bateman. The size is there, really big guy, about over 6 feet tall. I think he's about 6'5", 6'6", really big, left-handed, throws really hard. Just got to get him more consistent and refined. But I think he's definitely too. I think you could tell a guy might can go to the next level because he's too much for this level. Right. So minor league guys can't really handle him because he really throws too hard. So I definitely think he's a guy that's very talented as far as that goes as well. JT Quinn is really a comer as well. JT Quinn, 2-0, 3.50 ERA, 57 strikeouts. So definitely these are 2 live arms here at the lower level. For them, and definitely 2 Orioles, I think, are really lucky to have these 2 guys. Look, Mike Elias and the pitching prospects haven't really been there. So that's a real thing with the Orioles, haven't really had pitching prospects. So a lot of the draft stuff that they've done has really pretty much focused on offensive guys. So they really haven't been a chance to focus on defense, on pitching, and on pitching. So this is a guy you definitely have to look at. And Yalber Katera is a guy that been good out of the bullpen this year. The Orioles really haven't had a lot of great bullpen guys as well. So kind of last year, kind of hoped for like Keegan Gillies, who was really good last year. But that really didn't work out. Just got injured again as well. So we'll see how that goes as well. But definitely to the Orioles needing more pitching at the major league level. You're seeing it right now as evidence on the screen as well. Brandon Young may be a guy who is emerging for that as well. There you go. So there you go. The Orioles minor league system. And again, check it out. The blog spot here. We're interviewing the GM, general manager, vice president of operations for the Keys. Very happy for the people in Frederick. I used to work in Frederick a couple years ago, and very happy for them that they're actually getting back their minor league teams as well. So that's very good that the Keys they are back. Orioles reports. So Orioles reports here, weekly reports that we do it every week, and we're talking about the Orioles this week. So not as good this week. A little bit more of a scuffle. Lost a couple close games. Not overly concerned about them. They've been really good lately. I think the uptick is still coming. So they were good tonight. They won the won tonight's game. What was the final score tonight? 7-2 tonight as well. They're winning. I know this with Brandon Young on the mound, so that's for sure. So that's absolutely going on with Brandon Young on the mound. They're absolutely winning these games for sure as well. So let's take a look here. What's been going on this week? So definitely some issues with the bullpen. They took a look at Kyle Nicholas, cash considerations as well, and option him to Norfolk. So as well. So look, you see guys like this. The 4A guys are all in Norfolk, especially this year without the real prime prospects right there as well. 4A guys like this. These are the guys that you have to really look at. So you need guys that are ready to come up right away as well. Sam Huff came up this week. Sam Huff was actually selected playing tonight from Norfolk. Designated for assignment Weston Wilson early in the week as well. Sam Huff, I mentioned this in the interview as well. Look, as good as Adley Rutschman is good as Sam Bassau has been, and it's absolute craziness that they weren't in the lineup tonight. That's just complete craziness to start. But with those guys, you may have to carry 3 catchers. So that might be a real thing. Like, if you're going to actually play them every day, because they're not really getting off days a lot of nights. I think that's why tonight they didn't play as well. So definitely you got to keep that in mind. But you might need to carry a 3rd catcher. And so that's the thing. Makes sense getting Huff on the field instead of Weston Wilson, because Weston Wilson really wasn't playing. He really didn't have a role on the team. He didn't have a defensive role or offensive role as well. So that's a thing as well that, why change it when you have a guy that's really not going to play at all as well. Chris Bassett went on the 15-day DL, retroactive to June 5th, called up Trey Gibson from Norfolk. So that's a thing there for him as well. Trey Gibson, I'm not as big on him as some of you guys are fans. I know some of y'all like Trey Gibson, want to see Trey Gibson as well. I think it's more because the way a lot of the rotation has looked. So, let's see anything else is at this point. But I don't think Trey Gibson is going to be a really good major league starter. I'd be surprised if that was the case, if Trey Gibson was a really good major league starter as well. It's worth a shot, I guess, as well. But certainly with Bassett on the shelf, you're definitely taking a look at that. Real quick, Chadrick Top, again, needed for catches at the major levels. So he's a guy that the Orioles have had some experience with as well. He's going to go ahead and sign to a minor league contract. So again, now with Huff, I think that also could be a clue that Huff is going to be in the majors as well. That Huff is going to be in the majors. So it's interesting to go ahead and check that out as well. Definitely, too, no graphic for it. Ryan Helsley should be back here in a couple of days. Helsley has definitely been working out, had a little bit of a setback. I don't think you're going to have him until the break is over as well. Interesting to see how that goes. I definitely think he's going to be the starter, the closer for the rest of the year when he actually comes back. Dean Kramer had a little bit of a setback, so we're still waiting on him to go ahead and get ready for the season. So we'll definitely go ahead and check that out here as well. Pete Alonso has been really good the last few games. He had a home run tonight. Look, I don't know still what the Mets were thinking getting rid of this guy. Stop worrying about first base. Stop worrying about his defense. I don't understand the problem why you getting rid of a Pete Alonso there as well. Who's hot? Taylor Ward, Blaze Alexander, Adley Rushman. Taylor Ward, I mean, you could put him in the hot category every week. He's been a very good hitter all season long. I don't think we're getting exactly what we thought we were getting, but I mean, I'm fine what he's doing. Look, I'll take a Wade Boggs, a scrappy guy to keep off base all year long. Totally fine with a guy like that. Totally fine with a guy that's just scrappy and hard to keep off base. Definitely go ahead and do that as well. So I definitely would do that. Blaze Alexander has been a godsend. I think, look, I kind of was thinking this guy was Rene Gonzalez, just a super utility guy. His offense has been better than what we thought, and he's good at every position. He could be the best defensive player anywhere on the whole team. So Blaze Alexander has been good. Adley, the last 7 games has been Adley. Adley's really knocking on that all-star door. Really, really good as well. There. Get the graphic here. Who's hot? Oh, Tavares, not really good this week. His offense has been kind of slowly sliding down. I know that. And the starting pitching, I just was going to put starting pitching, but they've kind of, again, right and roll until tonight. You haven't had good starts. I think when this team gets good starts, they have good results because they're hitting home runs every game. They're hitting home runs every time they go out. Next week, the Padres. So it wasn't that long ago. I wanted the Orioles to be the Padres. They went out and got some pitching. They had those young players. This is a veteran group now. The Padres are an older team. And so it'll be interesting to see. And once again, you're going to go to the West Coast, the Great Northwest, and play the Mariners. Played them 4 games this week. And you're going to go play the Mariners as well. Kobe Mayo, I have him as the player of the week. Kobe Mayo hit the 2 home runs. He's coming along. Look. This guy plays every day. He's getting better and better. I think what we've seen with him for the last couple of years, he doesn't play, and then he kind of struggles to get back. He's a guy, I think it takes him a while to find his footing. But 2 home runs. Average wasn't great, but I definitely think the power stroke was there in the last 7 days. So definitely to Kobe Mayo, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs in the last 7 games. I definitely like Kobe Mayo there for that. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Michael, and all of you out there participating. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. We keep growing because of all of you watching, all of you guys out there getting that squared away as well. Thank you, guys. You have a great rest of your day.